Hi everyone, this is Arthur Knouse with Lise, Knouse & Associates at Keller Williams Realty. I'm here today with none other than Lise Knouse, and we're going to talk about things you should know before coming to Santa Fe. So Lisa, how long have you lived in Santa Fe?
I've lived in Santa Fe for I've lived here since 1997.
Oh, wow.
I started real estate in 2005, so I was getting confused, but I've been here since 1997, and I love it more every single year. It's a wonderful place to live.
Sure. So something a lot of people wonder about or have questions about before they come here is what's the climate like in Santa Fe? And I think there's some misconceptions there. So tell us a little bit about the climate here in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Sure. That's a good question. Well, Santa Fe is not like Arizona. I think a lot of people think that we are a very hot, dry climate, and we are dry, but we're not so hot. So we actually have 4 seasons because we are at 7,000 feet above sea level, so that keeps us cool. And Santa Fe is ringed by mountains, so we're called high desert, which is a little different from low desert, I guess.
Sure.
So the high desert has just a wonderful climate, 4 seasons, but they're all kind of temperate. We have snow in the winter, and we get up to maybe 100 degrees in the summer, not often, but it always cools off at night. So you never wake up hot and sweaty in the middle of the night.
So what's like a typical summer day like?
Well, a typical summer day, it could get hot. There could be a breeze. The sun is fairly intense here, so you probably should wear a hat. And one of the things I learned when I moved to Santa Fe was the reason for hats and cowboy boots, because the grass is prickly. So I'm sure the cowboys developed cowboy boots so that they wouldn't get, pricked by all the prickly grass. And then they wore their hats to protect them from the heat of the sun.
That sounds great. So you said Santa Fe is at 7,000 feet?
Yes.
How might that affect how I would, my experience here?
Well, I think it's really important. At 7,000 feet, you're not getting as much oxygen as you would at sea level. Mm-hmm. So you're going to need to drink a lot more water. You're going to need to do a little bit more resting. There is something that you can add to your water called chloroxygen, which is people say helps oxygenate your blood. It's chlorophyll. But mainly drink enough water. It's really important when you're at 7,000 feet.
Okay, great. So let's talk about a little bit about the culture here. How old is Santa Fe?
Santa Fe the official date that Santa Fe started was 1610. So some people think it started around 1601, but actually the official date is 1610. So we celebrated our 400th anniversary in 2010.
Wow. So what sorts of events happen here that I might consider planning a trip around?
Well, at the moment, none.
Fair enough.
But actually, usually, in most years, we have the Santa Fe Opera, which has a season of 5 operas, and they're wonderfully done, and it's an indoor-outdoor opera. We have the Santa Fe Folk Art Market, which brings in artists from all over the world, folk artists. We have the Indian Market, where Pueblo Indians create all kinds of art, pottery and beading and things like that. And then we also have the Spanish Market, where the people descended from the original Spanish culture have all kinds of beautiful art, religious art, and all different kinds of art.
That sounds exciting. Do I need to know how to speak Spanish to get around in Santa Fe?
No. Santa Fe or New Mexico basically recognizes 2 languages. So it recognizes both English and Spanish. So many people are bilingual in the Santa Fe area. But no, English is spoken by just about everybody, so you're fine.
And what can I eat while I'm here?
Oh, whoa, you asked the best question. We have the best food in, I don't know if it's the best food in New Mexico, but it's wonderful. Santa Fe has wonderful food. And a lot of the food is typified by a kind of food called Northern New Mexican. It's not Mexican, it's specific to Northern New Mexico. So we have things like pozole, which is a type of corn, and we have different, well, we have the same as in Mexico, burritos and tacos, but they're done a little differently. And we have different kinds of chili, and it's wonderful food. Santa Fe also has a lot of different ethnic food. I mean, we have everything from French to Indian to Chinese. I mean, we have very broad restaurants, different kinds of restaurants, and really excellent restaurants.
So you mentioned chili. What should I know about that?
Well, usually when you go in a restaurant, people say, the waiter will come up to you and say, do you want red or green?
And we're talking northern New Mexican food here.
Right, this is northern New Mexican food. So, you can say, he'll say, do you want red or green? And then you're wondering, what is he talking about? Is he talking about Christmas or what? But it's red chili and green chili. So, and they do call if you want both, you can say, I would like Christmas, please. So red chili is made out of red chilies, and green chili is made out of the Hatch green chilies, which come from Hatch, New Mexico. And they're very high in antioxidants. They're actually very, very good for you.
So if I don't like spicy food, or I'm not sure I can eat spicy food this spicy, what might I do to work around that?
Well, you can ask the waiter. If you're in a restaurant, you can ask them how spicy it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can always have them put it on the side. There's no problem with that. And you can say which one is hotter. Sometimes the red is hotter, sometimes the green is hotter. So just ask which is more spicy.
Sure.
And then put it on the side so that you can, if you're not used to spice, it might be overwhelming.
So I've seen some pictures of Santa Fe, and what's with all those brown buildings?
Well, what I tell my clients always is the architecture all looks like brown boxes. But once you get inside, it's a whole different story. So our architecture is made of basically, most of it is actually frame, just as you would see in any other place. It's built of frame houses, but then they stucco over it, and it looks like it's adobe.
Mm-hmm.
But or what the people think of as adobe. Actually, we do have adobe homes also that are built with adobe blocks, and those are blocks that are made out of the earth in the area, and then they're dried in the sun, and then you pile them up, and stick them together, and and then stucco over it. But there are some things to be concerned about with an adobe home, because although it's got a better heat efficiency, a little bit better heat efficiency, you can't let it get wet, because like any kind of mud, it'll turn into mud.
So adobe is a traditional construction technique?
Yes.
And then the stucco, that's the outside of the building?
Yes, it's the outside. It's made with, It can be made with mud, basically, that they dry. It dries in the sun.
Okay. But traditionally it was made with mud. Nowadays, what are they using?
Well, they have different kinds. They have the traditional kind still. That tends to be a little more expensive, but it also breathes better than the synthetic. And then there's synthetic stucco. One of the brand names is called stucco, and it's a plastic that they use, and it makes it look really nice and clean, but it doesn't breathe as well. So you have to be you have to be very careful not to let to fill in the cracks and things.
Right. So what's the difference? So stucco is the outside of the building,
Yes.
adobe's the inside, and then you could have any kind of construction under that stucco, couldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, we have pentile, we have block, we have straw bales. There's all kinds of different things the building can be built from.
Sure. Great. So moving on to the outdoors, what's the landscape like in Santa Fe?
Well, we're high desert. We have lots of mountains all around us. We have the Sangre de Cristos on the east. We have the Ortiz on the south, the Sandias on the south, and the Jemez on the west. So we have high mountains and mountain meadows. And because we're so high, the climate is, as I said before, is really temperate. The landscape is gorgeous. We have cactus here with beautiful flowers. We have lots of different kinds of evergreen plants, like we have pinon, which are very ancient, and we have ponderosa pine, we have juniper, many different colors of green I've noticed since I've been here. At first, when I used to think that all pine trees were the same, and then I came out to New Mexico, and it's there are just so many different kinds of evergreens. It's amazing. So in the winter, it tends to be more green than a lot of other places. We also have deciduous trees, and we have lots of wildflowers, lots and lots of wildflowers.
Well, that sounds great. So what outdoor activities are available if I'm going to come to Santa Fe?
Well, in the winter, there's skiing. We have a ski mountain about 20 miles away, and it's really a great place if you love to ski or snowboard. We have lots of hiking. Hiking is a very favorite pastime. You see lots of elderly people hiking with their sticks, and you see younger people hiking with their dogs, and it's something that people do in Santa Fe. We're because the weather's so good, I think many more people are outside than in other places. And also there's a lot of bicycling, there's canoeing not too far away. We don't have a lot of water here, but we do have the Rio Grande, and we have some rivers that people do canoeing on.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great. So let's see, I'm out of questions here. So if you are exercising in the outdoors, should you talk to your doctor before you do that, or what concerns should you have kind of unique to this area as far as doing things in the outdoors?
Well, one of the best things about Santa Fe is we don't have a lot of bugs, so you're not normally going to get chewed up by mosquitoes or something like that, but we do have some snakes. I haven't seen a whole lot of them, but if you go like on rocky areas, you might see some snakes. You might see a rattlesnake. In the winter or in the summer, we do have bear in the mountains, so you want to be careful about that. You don't want to leave food out if you're camping. That's pretty dumb. And if you don't know, you should always lock your food up in your car. Let's see, what other things you need to be careful of? Always wear good shoes if you're hiking in the mountains. Don't go by yourself. People have been known to get lost in our mountains, so it's good to always let somebody know before you leave where you're going, so in case you don't come back. Most people come back though.
Yeah. So anything else we should know about Santa Fe before we end our conversation today?
Well, that's kind of a general question. Let's see. I would say Santa Fe is a lovely place to come. It's rich in culture. We didn't really talk about so much of the culture. So many famous artists came from here. Mm-hmm. George O'Keeffe, and then we had the Cinco Pintores, of whom Will Schuster was one, and they built their houses in the 1920s along our Camino Monte Sol, and they built their houses there, and they had their art studios there. And it became sort of just a historic area, and it's now one of the most expensive places to live in Santa Fe. And then we have many writers who've lived here. Willa Cather, Tony Hillerman, and then in today's time, Cormac McCarthy, and who's the other one? There's many others. Yeah. And we have lots of movie actresses and actors who live here. Shirley MacLaine. It's just the city draws artists of all types, writers, artists, and it draws people who appreciate the arts. And it also draws people who appreciate the outdoors and the natural beauty that's here all around us. Sure.
Well, thanks so much, Lisa, and thank you all for watching. Again, I'm Arthur Knouse. This is Lisa Knouse. We're with Lisa Knouse and Associates at Keller Williams Realty. If you have any questions about Santa Fe, feel free to put them in the comments down below, and we will be sure to get back to you on those. And if you'd like help with real estate in Santa Fe, just give us a call. Lisa's number is 505-501-3385. Thanks so much.